Okay, we're trying this again. I'm filming in my aunt's garage once again, and I was trying to film the video the first time, and then I wasn't really quite happy with it, and then someone walked in. So, today's video is going to be about being the right fit for your job, or job that you're pursuing. A lot of people like to tell me that I'm just making up excuses when I talk about how I'm just not fit for a certain thing. Like people tell me to move to Asia and be a teacher. First of all, I have more of an introverted personality type, and I'm just not the kind of person that can like be up there in front of a class and take control and do all the testing and the grades and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not that's just not my thing. But when I try to explain this, a lot of times in the comments section too, in my videos, as well as to people in day-to-day life, they just don't seem to understand that, like when I try to say, like, it's the same thing as, like, you don't see people like Bill Gates trying to go and be a star football player or basketball player, something like that, to make an extreme example. There's just some things that even though you're not suited for. I'm not saying that you can't learn, that you can't grow beyond your initial potential, but there are just certain things that no matter how much you apply yourself and dedicate yourself to try and do something that you're not quite good at, it's not going to be a good mix, because when you're trying to force it, no matter how much you try, you're still, like for example, if you're terrible with numbers, you're not going to try to be an accountant, you know, unless you're just really, really motivated to do it anyway. But, you can try, you can get better, but, still, there's just certain things that you're not cut out for. So I found this article on the internet here called, oh, and by the way, the critics are going to say, ooh, he has a laptop and he's over here, with a PayPal donation link. Like, ooh, so I'm not allowed to have a laptop. So, anyways, jumping right ahead, this article's about choosing a career that matches your personality. While in many cases, physical and skill requirements will greatly impact your career choice, your personality should also play a major role when it comes to selecting the right job for you. It's important for people to find appropriate careers today, not only for financial reasons, but also for quality of life issues. By choosing a career that fits all of your needs, including one that suits your personality, you are far more likely to obtain the stability that comes with performing a job happily. This article demonstrates various individuals and their personality types and offers career paths that may best appeal to their individual personality traits. And it just goes on, I'm just going to kind of skip through real quick. It mentions outgoing personalities, dominant personalities, introverted personality, which is me, which I'll jump to in a second, analytical personality, team player personality, and that's it. So there's different personality types that fit different types of jobs best. Let's look into outgoing personality types, because this is not, I guess I can be a little bit, but I'm more of an introvert. Outgoing personality means you love to talk to people, you're a people person, and you don't like to get bogged down in a lot of red tape and details. You love to travel, but you do have some family constraints that make leaving for long stretches impossible. You have some administrative experience, but you do not like being stuck in a cubicle all day. You think well on your feet and prefer something that challenges you. It keeps you from feeling bored. And then it goes on to saying other careers you might consider: counselor, healthcare provider, hotel manager, stuff like that. So that's not my personality type. And then there's the dominant personality type. You hold fast to the motto, if you want something done right, do it yourself. You're a very driven and motivated type of person. You're fairly outgoing and work well with people, but you are also motivated by completing a task. You've been called ambitious, so you probably need a job with growth potential. Finally, you don't think you could be happy at a job that did not pay well, extremely well. You don't mind a career with long hours provided that it pays well and holds your interest. So those kind of positions would be engineer, law enforcement, and research. And there's more in the article that you can read it, because I'm not going to spend too much length in each one of these. I just want to go over, just give you guys a general idea of what I'm talking about. Now here we go. Introverted personality, which is what I fall into. You work best on your own. You always hated the group projects assigned in school. I also grew up an only child, so maybe that has a little something to do with it. You're fairly quiet and prefer to know your routine. You're usually adverse to change but are a dependable worker. You just like to understand all the facets of any given job. You don't mind behind the scenes work. You're not actually shy. You just don't think the job place should be a social climate. You like to work with your hands and are also good with computers. So being self-taught with building and repairing computers, that's something that falls into that. And also video production, which is behind the scenes stuff. But I happen to also like being in front of the camera. The dogs like to be mentioned, at least, I guess. So basically that pretty much fits me, because I do a lot of the camera work and the editing behind the scenes, adjusting the contrast, the brightness, the color balance and all that on all the color channels, and making sure it looks real good and everything. So those are the kinds of things that I'm good at, and that requires a lot of alone time in front of the computer, just focusing on one thing, which is something I'm very good at. Just focusing on one thing at a time, just in my own little corner, not dealing with up in front of a classroom teaching a classroom of like 50 people or 30 people or whatever the number is. That's just, I'm just throwing that out there so you see the contrast in the two different kinds of job types there. So the advice that it gives is computer programming and related careers will also be very good choices for you. I mean, I guess I could get into programming. I've tried to dabble into it when I was learning how to build and repair, but I just wasn't, I don't know, I'm more of a creative and visual type, as opposed to just a super logical, linear numbers type. So I don't know, I just never really got sucked into programming. Excuses. Sorry. So it says, although innovation and change is inherent in this line of work, you may find library cataloging and processing appealing. Well, not really. These are behind-the-scenes jobs that may seem appropriate to your description. Also, consider administrative work in a relatively stable field. Other career choices that may suit: research and graphic arts. Graphic arts, yes. I created, one brief little example is a Network 126 logo on the bottom of the screen. I designed that totally from scratch on Photoshop. I've been, even when I was working at that restaurant that was on Kitchen Nightmares with Chef Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I'll put the video link that talks about that down there. Even when I was working there, I was technically more of a busboy, dishwasher kind of guy, but I also ended up taking over as the official flyer designer, and the guy who was actually going to graphic arts school or whatever it was, whatever what it's called, whatever he was taking. He was doing those before, but then, well, I should have done the same, but I didn't. Because we weren't getting paid, and so he ended up just quitting basically, and I ended up jumping in and filling the spot. But the owner actually claimed that she liked my designs visually better than the other guys, and I was all self-taught. So anyway, just jumping into that for a second. So I've been doing a lot of that for many years. Yeah, really, I started learning Photoshop and all that kind of stuff since like 2006, when I was still in high school. So anyway, analytical personality type. You love to work with numbers and enjoy problem solving of all sorts. I kind of fall a little bit into that. I am into problem solving, but particularly creative visual problem solving. You get along well with people, but tend to get caught up in your own projects. You are also studying the sciences, but yet have yet to declare a major. You spend endless hours in the school library reading up on new science. So then it describes the best career choices: teacher, scientist, accountant. Then there's a team player personality type. You don't like to make decisions when it comes to work. You need to be told what to do and when to get it done by. You love to work with people and prefer a variety of people to a small and enclosed office. You are always eager to learn new things and are an apt learner. You don't mind long hours so long as the pay is adequate. You just want to like what you're doing, no busy work. The same thing day in and out. You thrive with a bit of change. So those kind of things, which I was just mentioning earlier about teacher, customer service representative, or newspaper reporter. Interesting, because I don't know, I consider myself a video reporter in a way, because I'm throwing my story out there and reporting on the economy and the personal psychological impacts and all that, and dealing with depression and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, it's just a lot to think about. Like this one comment from Totally Tubular says, I love this comment. He or she goes, I spent an hour trying to make a good reply to your post about how you are not cut out to be a teacher. But I already know how you'll respond to each thing I was going to say. I was going to say, why not develop the personality or skills to manage and lead a classroom full of people? But I know about 10 different responses you would say. I would fail. I would go crazy. Someone else would do it better. I'm not comfortable doing that. I did that once and it doesn't work. There's no future in that. I would not do it for free. I couldn't get there. I couldn't get back from there. I need money to do that. I don't want to serve in the military-industrial complex. Well, yeah, 'cause fuck the system. I'm more of like an anti-authoritarian anarchist, you know. I can't lift much. That's gross. I did that once and got ripped off. I would rather do something else, etc. I'm not trying to be negative, really. I just don't know what to say because I've seen all of your responses. It seems like you just want people to agree with you that your life is screwed by bad luck and to bail you out financially. Okay, that's why I've been working on this YouTube channel since 2011, working on making my own residual income off of it, not through PayPal donations. Anyway, it goes on to say, Nomadic Fanatic asked for $627 and has gotten $2,000 so far, so maybe that will work. Okay, so people just think that I'm just spewing excuses for no reason. There are things that I'm very, very good at. Stuff like mechanical things, figuring out how things work. Like I did with my car, I repaired all kinds of issues that it had, and I just basically learned on the spot how to do them, either by watching YouTube videos or talking to someone I knew who knew what he was talking about and had worked on cars before, and that kind of stuff. And it's the same kind of visual, creative, right brain kind of skill that I have that also helped me with computers, because I also have that male logical side of it that helps me visualize mechanical things. So whether it's computers or cars or what have you, I've been learning how to figure out how things work and you know, the ins and outs of them, and how to fix them and how to replace parts and all that kind of stuff. So those are things that I'm very good at. It's just there's limited opportunity for even people who know how to do things very well. And by no means that doesn't mean that I'm just going to stick to that. I mean, I'm not just looking for things that I just like to do. As I keep mentioning a bunch of times, I've been going to Home Depot before I heard that my mom was dying of cancer. I was out, going several times a week at least up to Home Depot when I was living with my dad in Long Beach, and I was going out there and I was taking everything I could handle. The only times that I didn't take a job, if I happened to get a pick, because I have that lottery system with the ping pong balls with numbers written on them, And that there were times that I would be picked, and then they would ask me like, "Do you have experience with drywall or something like that?" And I can't lie because then I walk onto the job site and I'm not going to know what I'm doing. So I was honest. I was like, "No, but I could learn." And the guy was like saying, "Well, I don't have time to teach. I need someone who knows how to do it." And yeah, I could understand that. So I ended up passing it to someone else who knew how to do it. But if it's something that I haven't done, but I tell them, well, okay, I'll try to visualize in my mind. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, that seems like something I can do. I'll take it, and I've been successful in doing things like that. And I've actually done very good jobs at things that I've never done before. Like when I smoothed out uneven concrete when it was like this, there was a sharp, jagged edge in between, and we had to go rent this concrete grinder, this thing that looked kind of like a lawnmower, but it was real narrow, maybe about like a little over a foot wide, and it had like this big engine, and you would have to start it, this engine on top, and it would have these controls of like how far to cut in and stuff like that. And I ended up doing a real good job, and I smoothed it all out, and I had never touched one of those machines before. And like when I was working at the metal fabrication shop, I had never worked in a place like that. And even the owner's son there, he told me that he was surprised at how quickly I had learned how to do all that stuff there that required like precise cuts and modifications to the metal with the various equipment. And I was able to pick up on all that, and then like finishing off things with the hand grinder and all kinds of stuff like that. Those are kinds of things I'm good at. So I do have good, useful skills. See, I can handle a lot. So when I talk about that I can't do, or that I'm just not cut out for certain things, and like even my cousin tells me about truck driving, I'm just not comfortable with handling large vehicles like that. I mean, first of all, I don't even know how to drive stick shift. I never learned. I'm not saying that I can't learn. I can. I know I can. And once I do learn that, if I was trying to go for that, I mean, and then I could actually control the truck physically, but I would still be, real nervous about, driving such a huge vehicle. It's just not something that I feel I'm cut out for doing. I just can't picture myself doing something like that or being a teacher. There are some things that I won't enjoy doing, but I'll think, well, okay, I can see myself figuring that out and doing a decent enough or even a good job at, so I'll do it. So yeah, so that was basically all I wanted to say about all that, and I probably ran this video real long, but I just had a lot to say, and I just wanted to get a lot off my chest. And I haven't done videos in a while, and I'm trying to pick up my video frequency again, trying to still grow my channel and all that. So anyway, rate, subscribe, comment below, check out the video links down at the bottom in the video description, and see you guys next time in my next episode. Adios, good night, peace out.